You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG, it's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Airline Pilot Guy, episode 692.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show, the view from our side of the cockpit door, with your host, Captain Jeff, broadcasting live from APG headquarters in Roswell, Georgia. Today's show is recorded the week of January 19th, 2026.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. Picture light and he's flying by with the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, new information on that fatal cargo plane crash in Louisville. It could be tied to an issue Boeing identified 15 years ago. And a flight lands so hard in Orlando that a tire falls off. Also ahead, more news and your feedback. So get all settled in. Tray tables and seat backs in the upright and lock positions. Electronic devices powered on. I'm Radio Roger. Flight 692 is ready for pushback.
Thank you, Radio Roger. He is an award-winning TV and radio reporter currently at the number one all-news station in the nation, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in
New York City.
Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. It's an aviation podcast covering the latest in aviation news and answering your great feedback. I'm Captain Jeff, a former U.S. Air Force pilot and retired Delta Airlines captain. And joining me from his Garden View studio,
in Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire.
retired professional dog photographer, former RAF, RAAF fighter pilot, retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virgin Atlantic Airways. It's Captain Nick.
Hi there, Jeff. Hi, Liz. Good Lord, has it come round to another show already? Anyway, let me tell you about Foxtrot Zulu 692. It's a Douglas C-47, or more correctly, a Dakota, that flew 224 operational missions during World War II with the RAF and then the Royal Canadian Air Force, including ops on D-Day and the Rhine crossing. During the war, it carried 298 casualties to medical aid and repatriated 456 POWs. And you can still see it because it can be found in the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum in Ontario, right next door to Liz, and she's never been there.
I haven't.
I can't believe a smack
guilty.
on the backside there, Liz.
It's in Hamilton, Ontario, which is about an hour west of me. It's too far for me to drive. The traffic's terrible. I think Jeff has been closer to it probably than I have with driving through the Hammer.
Maybe. Yeah. But I haven't been there either, so
No, I know.
sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
slacker.
Yeah. Well, thank you. All right. Thank you, Captain Nick, for that. And we will have...
I'd like to point out nobody died in this one.
I know.
No.
I appreciate that.
Unless some of the patients they repatriated died.
Maybe somebody has died in connection with this. I don't know. But thank you for not mentioning it. Okay. And we're going to have Dr. Steph joining this part. We're doing part one right now. And she's going to join us while we're in progress. But before we move on to the news, we're going to, of course, introduce the lovely Liz from her studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, retired financier and aviation enthusiast, spreadsheet master, and our producer. As I said, it's Liz Piper.
Here I am in a cold and snowy Toronto.
How cold is it going to be, Liz?
We're supposed to be the coldest air in the world. It's going to be over southern Ontario this weekend with, I think the actual air temperature is going to be about minus 25.
Minus
and then
1,000 degrees.
And then, exactly. We're just basically all going to freeze into a big block of ice. So goodbye,
And then
everybody. This is
The
my last
hottest
show.
air in the world can be found at APG headquarters.
It's right here, right now.
Yeah.
Have a good show, boys.
Thank
Cheers.
you. All right. Well, sir, I think we should move on and do some news.
Excellent.
stand by for news.
Okay, we're going to start with this from the NTSB. It's an NTSB update on the UPS MD-11 crash in Louisville, Kentucky. And let's see, on January 14, 2026, the NTSB released an investigative update report. And here it goes. A preliminary review of data from the FDR showed nominal performance of the airplane. And just a reminder, the MD-11, the left engine separated from the left wing of the aircraft, and it crashed and killed all, 3 or 4 on board the
three, I think.
3 on board the aircraft. And I think it said in the article, and I might be reading this very soon, but it's like as
11
far as I
people
know,
on the
like
ground.
11 on the ground now? Okay.
Yep.
I
3
saw
crew
another
members
figure
and
like
11
12.
on the ground, fatally injured.
Gotcha. Okay. So a preliminary review of the data from the FDR showed nominal performance of the airplane and engines until about 17:13:11, about 20 seconds before the end of recorded data, when the parameters for the number 1 engine were no longer reliable. Shortly after that, the FDR showed that only the number 1 engine fire parameter changed from no fire to fire, and the throttle resolver angle, the TRA, for the numbers 2 and number 3 engines increased. Subsequently, the speed values for the low-speed rotor, the N1, and high-speed rotor, N2, for the number 2 engine showed minor perturbations. Am I saying that right? Perturbations, while the N1 and N2 values for the number 3 engine increased and remained steady until about 3 seconds before the end of recorded data. The airplane's ground speed was about 184 knots from 17:13:11 until about 3 seconds before the end of the recorded data at 17:13:30. With respect to the engine pylon, the National Transportation Safety Board reported, as indicated in the preliminary report for this investigation, airport surveillance videos that captured part of the airplane's takeoff roll showed that the left engine, the number 1 engine, and pylon separated from the wing shortly after airplane rotation, and a fire ignited on the left engine and near the area of the left pylon wing attachment. The pylon aft mount bulkhead is an assembly composed of 2 independent fittings bolted together with lugs, the forward lug and aft lug, that house a single spherical bearing assembly. The lugs from the left pylon aft mount bulkhead were found fractured, and the associated spherical bearing assembly for this location, consisting of a ball element and bearing race, was found still installed on the left wing clevis at the accident site and was exposed to the post-crash fire. The spherical bearing race, which is normally one piece and housed with the lugs of the aft mount bulkhead, was found fractured into forward and aft portions. The NTSB Materials Laboratory in Washington, D.C. has subsequently examined this spherical bearing assembly. Investigators observed that the interior surface of the bearings race had fracture surfaces that showed evidence of fatigue cracking originating around the entire circumference at the edge of the design recess groove, a design feature on the interior surface of the race. The fatigue cracking extended through the thickness of the bearing race toward the exterior surface, encompassing about 75% of the fracture surface, with the remaining fracture surface consistent with overstress failure. Remnant grease-like material was found within the spherical bearing assembly, that is, between the ball element and the bearing race. Okay, so that's what they highlighted in their report, and we'll include the entire update report in our show notes. So, and then there's another associated news clip in here from, theaircurrent.com. And it says, in UPS crash, NTSB probing MD-11 engine mount issue first identified by Boeing in 2011. And Radio Roger kind of teased that in the intro. In a mid-investigation update on the November crash of MD-11 in Louisville, Kentucky, the U.S. NTSB said that cracking discovered in the spherical bearing assembly from the accident aircraft appears to be consistent with an issue identified by Boeing almost 15 years ago. The assembly in question is part of the pylon aft mount bulkhead that, along with the forward mount bulkhead and thrust link assembly, attaches the engine pylon to the wing. In the Louisville crash, airport surveillance video showed the MD-11's left engine and pylons separating from the wing shortly after. This says after takeoff, but it's actually after rotation. I guess you could call that takeoff. I recall something that I read that said that Boeing. Okay, so as part of what is this called? A report, recommendation from Boeing in 2015. They and remember also that the airplane was made by McDonnell Douglas, and Boeing inherited the MD-11 product line in 1997 during the buyout of McDonnell Douglas. Moved to include visual inspection of the part in a regular 60-month maintenance cycle and recommend, in quotes, installation of a new part design to mitigate the issue. However, Boeing did not require the installation of that new design, having previously determined that failure of the bearing race would not result in a safety of flight condition.
Uh-oh.
Well, I think they were wrong about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although the update does not draw any conclusions about the role of the bearing race failure and how it may have, played a role in the crash, the NTSB said its investigation is ongoing and includes reviewing how the service letter by Boeing was incorporated by UPS, as well as correspondence between Boeing and the FAA on the topic. So looks like they're kind of focusing in on that, and they kind of indicated that, in the preliminary report, but they just give us a little bit more detailed information about the bearing assembly and the race and that aft mount pylon mount.
Aren't
So
all
what
the
do you think?
MD-11s grounded at the moment? Like they're not flying at the moment.
Yeah, I think the MD-11 fleet is. I think it's
completely grounded and hasn't
and then
flown
I think
So
it said
there's
like a
not a
handful
safety
of
issue at the
DC-10 and DC or some other, like two other closely related airplanes also, but that have the same kind of, I guess,
Assembly.
hardware in the left pylon or the pylon mounts. But yeah, mostly, and I think it said somewhere that that all of the MD-11s in service right now are all cargo, implemented in cargo operations. So, what do you think, Captain Nick?
Yeah, it doesn't really reveal much more. We were kind of aware of this. It highlights the area of concern, the fact that Boeing knew about might have been an issue 15 years prior. Is of concern. If you can't very well say it's not going to affect the safety, so we're not going to make it compulsory for you to redesign or refit these pylon holes, these pylon lugs, because that points the finger a bit at, when you make a decision like that, it can have dreadful ramifications years down the track. Boeing have a fair amount of experience with exactly this issue, because if you remember back to the plane tale I did about the Schiphol Boeing 747 crash, where they lost an engine off the aircraft. As the engine parted, it took out the engine next door. So the crew, it was another cargo aircraft. The crew lost two engines on one side and then failed to make it all the way around to land back on the remaining two engines and crashed. And when I did some research into that, that wasn't the only losses the 747 had. It goes all the way back to the 707. In fact, the 747 pylon design was sort of inherited from the 707, so it didn't really require much redesign, even though they had a few engines that nearly fell off, and then eventually some fell off. And, of course, the dreadful Schiphol crash, which was appalling, not only to kill all the crew on board, but of course it landed in this housing area and caused absolute devastation there. So they knew a lot about the potential hazards of pylon lug failure, which was what the 747 had. So it's a bit sad to see that they weren't a bit more on the case with this one and make their recommendations stronger, and force the owners of the MD-11 to do something more dramatic with their engine lugs before they fell off. Oh, thanks, Liz. Liz has found that plane tale. It's on show 321, if you want to go back. LL 1862 was the title. So if you want to find out a little bit more about the history of that from Boeing's point of view, that's the plane tale to go to.
Yeah, I can't imagine, anything worse than losing. It's bad to lose two engines on a 4-engine jet, but both on the same side, that's quite a challenge.
Yeah. And because this MD-11 also, the engine indications on the third engine, it is the third engine that's in the fin, isn't it?
No, that's the number 2. It's just left to right, 1, 2, 3.
All right.
It's number 2.
So the one that showed some fluctuations. Perturbations. Yes, that was the number 2 engine then.
Yes.
In the fin. Yeah. I thought that they might have had something more dramatic because with that engine and the right engine, they should have still been able to accelerate away, albeit very carefully. But so I'm not sure we're perhaps going to find out why they lost control of the aircraft so quickly.
Right. Yeah, because everybody was thinking that maybe the debris or whatever from that separating engine on the left wing somehow really
took out
the number 2 or significantly reduced the amount of thrust coming from it. But this report update kind of makes you believe that it was still producing a significant amount of power. So yeah, I'm wondering the same thing, Captain. There must have been something else involved in the separation of the pylon and the engine.
Yeah, perhaps some flap or slat damage that caused that wing to stall at a lower speed than they would otherwise have expected. That sort of thing.
Interesting. Okay, in our live audience, we have Mark Nuckenhauer. As a child, I witnessed an engine fall off a plane departing San Francisco International. Luckily, the engine landed in a vacant lot northwest of the airport. Would have been sometime in the early 70s. Wow. That must have been pretty dramatic to witness in person.
Yeah, definitely.
Wonder if Tim Van Ram remembers that at all.
I don't know. Tim Van Ram, do you remember that? I mean, I think he was born in the 30s or 20s, I think.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
This next item is, which includes a video, which we'll play here shortly, comes from Paddle Your Own Canoe. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I should be ready for that.
The video is separate. It's from YouTube. So
it's a YouTube video. It has nothing to do with Paddle Your Own Canoe. But I'll read a little bit from it. United Airlines Airbus A321 sends a tire flying across the tarmac and hair-raising landing at Orlando Airport. And let's see, passengers on a United Airlines flight from Chicago O'Hare to Orlando had a hair-raising experience on Sunday after the plane smacked onto the runway so hard that one of the front nose wheel tires flew off and rolled down the tarmac. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the aircraft, which is only 2 years old, had been removed from service until Tuesday at the earliest. In a statement, United euphemistically described the incident as a, quote, mechanical issue. Yeah, I'll say. Okay.
Yeah, that landing gear looks kind of sad there with just one tire on it.
Yeah, it is a sad look for sure. So again, this is United Airlines Flight 2323 from Chicago O'Hare to Orlando, MCO. Airbus A321neo, registration November 14502 at around 9 a.m. on January 18, and we're recording part 1 of episode 692 on the 22nd, so just a few days ago. They were flying this 2-hour flight down to Orlando from Chicago, and most of the flight passed off without incident. But as the Airbus A321neo was coming in to land the hair-raising touchdown, he loves this phrase, doesn't he? Hair-raising. Hair-raising touchdown was caught on video by an airport worker who happened to be filming the incident.
Video.
Okay, from the perfect vantage point on a taxiway. Okay, so
they even call it a mechanical issue on the video.
Yeah, well, let's see. Are you ready for me to play the video, Liz?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Watch your ears.
Yeah. Get ready.
Coming in. There's that A321.
From a cockpit of another plane.
Flare. Oh, yeah.
Something popped up.
Something popped off.
Something popped off.
Worth watching again, maybe?
Yeah, I'd like to do it again.
Coming in, short final. Looks like 17 right, maybe? I don't know. I can't tell. No, that's the other side of the airport. Okay. That's the part that, yeah. Oh.
Something popped
Something
up.
popped off.
I think that might be a title there.
Something popped off. Yeah, you got that, Captain Nick? Potential title?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you're the Airbus expert here, although I kind of have an idea what happened myself, not being
you go ahead.
Airbus expert. No, I've been yakking all this time. They need to hear your voice now. Tell us
I don't know.
happened
What was
here.
the weather like? Have you got does anyone know if it was a bit gusty or something? Because it wasn't looking too bad. Looked fairly stabilized, and then there was a little bit of wing rocking and a little lack of flare, and then they walloped in. But for some reason, the derotation happened straight away. So rather than holding the flare attitude for the aircraft to land and touch down, the main wheels hit hard, and then the aircraft pitched forward onto the nose wheel. Now, it didn't look much more than, say, twice the normal derotation rate. I don't know. I was always very gentle because,
and we
you've got a
appreciate
great big
that.
long aeroplane. You don't want to lever the nose wheel down too quickly. We put the nose wheel down before 100 knots. You got a lot of time. So I'm not quite sure why. So I'm wondering what the control inputs were at the time. There's no flight law that really involved during the landing phase. In the landing phase, you're effectively direct law. So in other words, you're just an ordinary old airplane, and what you do with the stick is directly basically connected to the flight controls. So, there's not much in the way of cushioning that the computers will do to rescue a situation when you're in the flare and landing, so that you have basically direct control of the aircraft. So whoever it was, I don't know, they were either worried perhaps that they had overpitched the aeroplane, and the 321 is prone to tail strikes, so perhaps they went, oh geez, I've pitched the nose up a bit now, so now I'm going to push that nose forward, and combined with the impact on the main wheels, rotated the aircraft heavily. But I've seen worse, and nothing happens. The airplane just wobbles around a bit and then settles and trundles down the runway. This time they lost a wheel. So, and it doesn't look like there was a huge amount of damage to the nose gear assembly, but that wheel has failed and departed the axle. So, and it's not particularly dangerous either. I mean, the aircraft can probably land and roll around quite happily on one wheel. I've seen them land with those wheels all sideways, and it's a bit of a non-event. But not the best of landings, and I have no doubt that there will be an element of retraining required.
They're not going to win any landing contests.
Well, it depends what kind of a contest you're going for. If it's Jackass, then you probably will win that contest.
Okay, yeah, maybe they'll be the winner.
Year.
Tim Van Ram has a great comment here.
Oh, Tim Van Ram with us. Is that a nose dragger? Not a tail dragger.
As opposed to a tail dragger. Very good.
I think you have something there. I think that maybe they were concerned about a tail strike, and they overdid or derotation.
Corrected.
And or either that, or they were like it was such a hard touchdown on the mains. Whoever had their hand on the joystick, like just went like a reaction.
Yes.
It was hanging on for dear life.
Jolted their arm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I suspect we're going to find out more if they bother to tell us more. But it's not an accident so much as an incident,
Right.
and I think most of the flavour of what happened here has been created by the journalists writing the article rather than the actual incident.
What? No.
No.
Come on, Captain Nick.
And the
doesn't
explanations of the people watching it.
Well, I can tell you what, it was quite hair-raising, huh? Wouldn't you agree?
Well, which of your hairs was raised? I'm curious to know.
Neil says, perhaps the wheel was due for replacement anyway, and they were just being extra helpful to the maintenance crew. That's possible. Or
Yeah, but the maintenance crew have got to run around and find the old one now. Can't just leave those wheels. They're quite expensive, hanging around.
yeah, it's quite
Wheel,
possible,
not
as you
heel.
said. It didn't look like it was that hard of a derotation, and maybe for some reason that left nose wheel bolts or whatever you call them to tighten the thing. Maybe they weren't properly torqued or something. I don't know.
Yeah, let's blame maintenance.
Well, we may find
yeah.
out that was a contributory factor.
Had nothing to do with
What
the
was-
pilots. It was all
No,
maintenance.
it was-
What was that suggestion for a show title that came in there?
Pop goes the wheelie.
Pop goes the wheelie.
Pop goes
Or-
the wheelie.
Or
Something popped off.
Yeah, something popped off, which
Or a
was
nose
from
dragger. Or a nose
the
dragger.
maintenance person, I think, or the airport worker, or a nose dragger.
Oh, look at
for
Peter Tarantelli has a good one, too.
Peter Tarantelli
The Wheel
says,
of Misfortune.
"Wheel of Misfortune."
Where's Vanna? Where's Vanna?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that was a wheel problem for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wheelie bad.
Wheelie bad. Yeah. Okay.
You sound like Elmer Fudd.
I think. Yeah, I know. I think that's enough.
That's enough news, I think.
Yeah, that's enough news. Okay.
Yeah.
It's time for some getting to know us. Time of the show where we get to know what the hosts have been up to between episodes. And we're going to start with the esteemed retired fighter pilot and retired airline pilot, Captain Nick.
Hi there, Jeff. And I am about to announce that I did absolutely nothing last week. The weather here has been foul.
It's nice and easy.
Sounds like a good
We've had constant rain, more or less. I have been frustrated by my efforts to do a simple job like plug the EV into the charger and get it to inflate the battery. In other words, the electric Volvo is refusing to charge properly. So that's been frustrating me enormously. But really and honestly, no, I haven't really done much.
That's not true. You did cover art for the last show.
However, I did do the cover. I do that every week, Liz. Generally speaking.
That's
But
something.
yes, I did the cover art. Now, we had some interesting suggestions. So there are only a few, like left, right, and rev, non-rev. But the one that I instantly took a liking to was RJ's suggestion of dress to egress, as we were not only talking about what to wear. Would it be nicer if people dressed up a bit to fly? Would they be perhaps better behaved and more pleasant passengers? But of course, we had to make sure that if you did have to egress, were you appropriately attired? And RJ liked the idea of dressing up a bit, so
Yeah, he's really
he
dressed.
looks a bit like 007 in this
does.
one, doesn't he?
Looks good.
Yeah, and I've gone overboard, of course, with a complete body condom, and
I love the boots.
Jeff, on the other hand, is a typical Atlantean with
his
his
carry-on piece.
yeah,
in there.
with his shorts and his rubber ring and his water wings ready to go and jump in some water. It looks like you're on your way to Miami, actually, Jeff.
I was going to say, this looks more like a Florida man than an Atlanta
yes,
man.
Probably true, actually. And your flip-flops.
I do have flip-flops. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're all paddling in the spilt fuel from this crash that we've just egressed from. So that was dressed to egress, and I thought, what a great idea. Now, if you can look above the first S in the windows, you'll find the logo.
Yeah.
If you look in the doorway, next to slide down, is, of course, our jackass penguin at the bottom of the doorway. There he is, yeah.
Okay.
He's black and white in a black and white picture, so a little hard to spot. And if you want to find the show number, then have a look on Jeff's inflatable wing. If you look in the sort of left, there's a 6. Yeah,
I see it.
And the bottom is a 9, and then beside that funny tab, in the middle of a thing that looks like a 2, is a 1. And it's in the middle of there. So you look for a darker area. That's where the 1
I see
is.
it. Yeah. Okay.
So that's the show number. It wasn't easy this week. I've done a few easy ones lately, but that one definitely wasn't.
Face on Jeff and Nick's face.
Well, yeah, that's not AI. That is real-time Jeff.
A real expression.
Yes. Oh, dear. Yeah, so that was a bit of fun. Enjoyed doing that one.
Well, look here. Look who's joined us to continue on with our Getting to Know Us segment. It's the lovely Dr. Steph. Hey.
Hello. Sorry for my tardiness today. Traffic this week in Charlotte has been atrocious, and I don't know why. And the way I would normally go home from the office I was at today had a road closure, so I had to go a different way, and that was bad. So it doubled my commute time. So I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway.
What is this commuting? And this other word you're using, work. What is this? What is this word?
Work.
We don't recognize
That's what that is. Yeah. Well, I have plenty to talk about that was not work from this past weekend. None of it's really flying, but we can talk about the trip that I took there because it did involve sitting on an airplane. But
I think that you were doing something. I mean, you were really flying.
Well, I mean, like running, on the
really
road.
Flying.
Flying fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Running fast.
So
there she goes.
So what did I do this weekend? We'll do my, just for everybody that's listening. Like I was saying, I was late getting here, but maybe an off chance I'll make it to second part of this recording because we're supposed to have work-related stuff this weekend, but it is threatened to be canceled at this point or rescheduled because of the incoming inclement weather. So we shall see if it does not go on as planned this weekend. Maybe I will be here for the second part. So
cool. Most Steph,
sorry for missing out on most of the news and feedback, but maybe I'll get into that tomorrow with you guys. So
excellent.
But we'll go to getting to know me now. So you can go back to the picture. I'm sorry. So this was this past weekend in a not snowy, wintry environment, obviously. Had some running adventures. In South Carolina, this is on Dufusky Island, which is actually just south of Hilton Head and just north of Savannah. So we can start with this picture, Liz. This was actually, I went down on Friday afternoon after work. Actually went with one of my very best friends who came down from Chicago. She was quite happy to escape the winter weather. That's my friend Lisa there, but we'll get to that one in a second. We can go back to the other one. Yeah, let's stay there for a second. Flew down on Friday night and actually flew from Charlotte to Hilton Head, which is not a very long flight at all. Hilton Head, not a very big airport. It's got a little 5,000-foot runway, and we took an Embraer 175 in there. And then stayed the night in Hilton Head. It's nice on the off-season because the hotel rooms are cheap, and you can get a nice, 2-bedroom villa on the beach and not pay a lot of money for it. So that was fantastic. Nice. To get over to Dufusky Island, you actually have to take a ferry. There's no bridges to this island. So Saturday morning, woke up early. This was the 6 a.m. ferry, so nice little sunrise view. kind of a longer ferry than I thought. It's not a long distance, but they go through kind of this channel area where you have to go fairly slow. So it took about 30 minutes to get over there. Let's see what they have next, Liz. Might have to go backwards.
This one?
So this was before the start of the race. Usually I do these huge marathons with like 50, 60,000 people. This race had like fewer than 600. So between both the marathon and the half marathon. So I think 100 women ran the full marathon, which is what I was doing. So that's me jumping up and down before the start, trying to stay warm. I'm not used to running and having nobody around me, but this was going out on the second loop of the course. So the island's not very big. It's like 5 miles long by 2 miles wide. So you do 2 loops of this 13-mile course that they have set up. It was not an easy course. A lot of it was paved. And I did see like on the course description that there was a unpaved portion, which I assumed meant like gravel. I did not anticipate that it would be 4 miles of soft beach-like sand. It was not actually on the beach, but it was just a road made of soft sand for 2 miles.
Ouch.
So, I had some blisters from that, actually.
Did you worry about getting lost when there aren't a lot of people around to follow?
I was a little worried, actually. But this was loop 2, so I already had done it once, so I kind of knew where I was going at this point. And they had it pretty well marked. It wasn't too difficult to figure out.
You look kind of exhausted in this picture.
I was tired after this race. So I went out chasing a personal best, and I didn't quite get it, which I'm going to blame on the sand, because 4 miles of sand running was tough. And I was very aware that I was working very hard running on the sand just to keep the same pace. But
look at you on the number 1 podium.
Number 1 podium for my age group. So first in my age group, which was nice. And I came in 6th overall.
Wow.
Oh, that's a good job.
That's really good.
So,
applause.
And
applause.
I got a Boston qualifying time by like this much.
Well, good.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Wow. Despite the sand. Wow,
Despite the
that's
sand.
Really good.
Yeah, and it was my second fastest time ever in the marathon, so I can't really be, there's no disappointment. It was a good weekend. It was a good race. I'd go back and do it again. I'd probably pick different shoes for the sand portion. So
you'd have time to change your shoes just for the sand.
You know what?
portion?
I would maybe, because I think you could set it up where if you had someone there supporting you, they could actually like put your shoes out on the course, and then you could pick them up, and then they could have the other shoes at the other end by the time you get there, because it's it kind of is a big loop around back to that point, so they could be between those 2 points faster than I could run it. I could take like 10 seconds, change my shoes, and be on my way.
Cool.
I don't know if that's allowed in the race. I'd have to look into those rules, but I didn't see anything specifically prohibiting it. So this was getting off the ferry to Fusky Island, south. Yeah, so outer islands of South Carolina, all these old
Jimmy Buffett
trees.
sang a lot about Defusky Island in a lot of his music.
So my friend Lisa had never heard the song Honeydew by Jimmy Buffett. And sometimes, for whatever reason, the whole time I was down there, I was thinking of that line, can't pronounce my R's or G's when I'm speaking Southernese, because it just looks like that kind of environment. But all the Spanish moss hanging off of the trees it's really beautiful. Yeah. That's the start and finish line of the marathon. Pretty quaint.
Yes,
it was cute. So we did that on
some of the ones.
Yeah, exactly. We did that on Saturday, and so taking the ferry back. Apparently, in years past, they've not had any trouble getting all of these people back off of the island, back over to Hilton Head. But this year, it occurred at the lowest point of low tide, is when they were trying to get everyone off the island. So they had to take the extra slow passageway back to Hilton that's deeper through the channel. So at one point, there was a 2.5, 3 hour wait for the ferry. So we actually just went to the clubhouse on the island, sat down at the bar, made friends with some of the locals. A very nice gentleman bought us a couple glasses of wine. And we hung out until we were going to go back to Hilton Head and go down to the beach and see the sunset and stuff. And we just hung out there all day. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh, cool.
Finally did get back to Hilton Head.
How many people live on the island?
I think 500-ish. Okay. And I don't know that that's year round, but yeah, it's a small number. And they were all filtering into the clubhouse to watch the football games that were occurring on Saturday night. So everybody knew the bartender, Josh. He was very fun.
Hey, Josh, if you're watching.
Hey, Josh. Yeah,
Steph, maybe you want this one with your friend?
So the next day, we had to go back Sunday afternoon, but Sunday morning, neither of us had been to Savannah before. Unfortunately, it was kind of pouring rain the whole time, but we had a very nice brunch at Vic's on the river. I had some she crab soup and some fried oysters on my salad, and that was very nice. And then we walked around kind of the Main Street historic district in the rain for 20 minutes before we got back in the car and left. But We did come across this interesting building, and this is the picture for Nick. If you can zoom in on that,
I can't zoom any farther.
Nick can see what it says.
What does it say?
Seaman.
International Seamen's House. I think.
Seaman's House. They have a hot house for their seamen?
No, I prefer Siemens.
Wow.
We've
yeah,
heard
it says
that.
it's operated by the Savannah Port Society, incorporated 1843. But I took that picture just for you, Nick, because that's exactly
because
what
of
I
this
heard in
sound
my
clip
head.
right here. Everybody stop.
No, I prefer Siemens.
Yeah.
But I mean, super cute town, old houses and things like that, and we had a good time just walking around and catching up and all of that. So, and then flew back to Charlotte, and my friend Lucy flew back to Chicago from there, and yeah,
Cool.
that was. And then actually, I have one more thing to say, and thank you, Liz, for reminding me. Did not unfortunately get a picture or a sound clip. Apologies for that. I'll explain why in a second. But as we were getting off the airplane in Charlotte, so we're in the E concourse, which is like where all the regional flights come into. And I was walking my friend Lisa back over to her gate to go to Chicago, which was in B concourse. And we're walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden I hear, "Dr. Steph." I was like, "Hello?" So, turn around, and it was RH from Opposing Bases. Who was hanging out. Well, hanging out. He was commuting back home from
No, he
his
just likes
trip.
to hang out at the airports.
He just likes to hang out.
He's that into aviation.
He likes to hang out in the
Or he's
e-concourse
just
of
stalking
Charlotte
you.
Douglas. Listen, nobody likes to hang out in the e-concourse of Charlotte Douglas Airport. It's not the
Not good,
most,
huh?
I don't know. Yeah, it's all right. It's just overcrowded gates and people rushing around and yeah.
Ah, the humanity.
But I know. But yeah, we had a quick minute to catch up. He was commuting home. Seems like things are going really well for him. I almost showed him my very blistered toe in the middle of the airport there, and then I decided against it. It's like, you know what? Maybe not. So, but next time we'll do better. We'll get a picture and a little audio clip. So.
Cool.
But he says hello, and it was nice to see him.
Good job.
He's a good guy. Is he still doing that that podcast?
I
Just
think
kidding.
so. As far as last I checked, I think I got a notification about the most recent episode like the other day. Yes. Still doing it, still listening, still a wonderful show. So
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's great. I'm glad you did rather well on your run. That's good.
Yeah, sounds
it
like
was a
quite
good
an
weekend.
experience. Now, I was looking at the picture of the red house. Is that where the bar was? Behind
Which
you
red?
when you and your friend? That's the one.
so that was in
That's
Savannah.
Savannah.
That's the Savannah Cotton Exchange. So that's
I was wondering what the
Freemasons.
gargoyle was, or is that a fountain? Or
It's a fountain.
It's a
I
fountain.
think.
Savannah is filled with all these
Yeah.
little city squares with fountains in
Oh,
the
interesting.
middle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and all those buildings were quite old, and the actually kind of along that stretch of buildings is where the restaurant was on the Savannah River that we were eating at, and nothing was level in that building. Like I went down the stairs into the bathroom, and like the floor just like sloped down to one side. We were laughing like all these houses with like the windows like off kilter, and there were some steps leading down to like a lower level of the shops, and it said "Use caution, historic steps." And they were like about 3 inches wide and very steep. Like the steps were super teeny tiny. They look quite treacherous, especially in the rain.
I have to correct myself. I think I pronounced, I said fountains in the Savannah. What I meant to say was
Fountains.
fountain.
Fountains.
Lots of fountain. Yeah. Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. Very good.
let's do
Anything else,
one
Miss
piece.
Steph?
No, the flight to
Okay.
and from Hilton Head was lovely. It's like 30 minutes. We sat in first class of our Embraer 175.
30 minutes of first
Nice.
class. Wow.
30 minutes of first class.
They have a
Good
they have
job.
a first class Well, I guess just not as many seats. Or like you're like
It
in one of the
was,
single
let's see,
seats. or
2,
something.
4, 6, 8,
It's where the pilots
12
sit.
seats.
Who do we appreciate?
12 seats. 4 rows of 3.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So good. So good. All right. Well, we're going to do a quick feedback segment in part 1. Probably only cover one piece of feedback. So here we go.
Captain, incoming message.
Thank you. All right. We're
Number 9.
going to go number 9.
Got a video.
Mine's
video.
still loading. Hold on.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, wait.
What? That never happens, Steph.
Where
Let's see.
did you guys go? Oh, there.
I can
Sorry.
guarantee Steph has already seen the video at one
I'm
point
sure.
or another.
Probably, but
Probably has.
What this is a smarter ever notice here. I don't want to see what's new. Can I just get?
They are improving it, I have to say. But it's not perfect, but it's
StreamYard and Evernote are owned by the same guys.
yeah.
Number
Evernote
9?
and StreamYard are owned. Bending Spoons, I think. Yeah,
oh, I
number
have
9.
seen this video. Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure, I've seen this.
So here we go. This is sent to us from Sam Dawson, skydiving in Australia. And he said, the chances of being attacked by a kangaroo while skydiving are very low, but not zero. Imagine explaining this one to the ER doctor. And so if you're ready, Liz, are you?
Yes, sir.
I don't have
Here we
the
go.
window open. Okay, here we go. So
Oh,
somebody
hold
coming
on.
in
It's
for
not
landing.
presenting.
It's not showing.
There we go.
What's up, Skip? Hey, fuck off! Fuck off! Go away!
I love that he called the kangaroo Skip. What's up, Skip?
Hey, Skip.
Skip.
Like it's his pet kangaroo or something.
Yeah.
We need to watch that again, don't we?
Well,
Yeah, we
that's obviously wasn't called Skip. That's why it was offended.
Darn it. Why does it keep doing that?
It kind of looks like a paragliding wing. Yeah. So that's not actual. That's not skydiving. That's paragliding, but similar. I mean,
What's up, Skip? Hey, fuck off! Fuck off! Go away!
That kangaroo is attacking.
kangaroo was like, "How
The-
dare you land where I was? Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
fight you over this
exactly.
piece of land here. Get away."
The reason he called
Oh.
it Skip was there's a famous Australian kids show called Skippy the Kangaroo.
Well, it makes sense because that's what they do. They skip. They skip around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Skip.
So you're saying that this is not a skydiver, but
It looks like a I'm looking
paraglider
at his,
or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's a paraglider. Like I'm looking at his shadow too, and it looks like he's got like the harness that you kind of sit into, and it's very wide, narrow wing.
So did it offend you that we
it's a
said
lot of cells.
skydiver?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
A wide, narrow wing. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Long. It's narrow. Long,
Or a
narrow
narrow
is what I
wide
meant
one.
to say. Sorry,
Yeah.
not wide.
Broad.
Width, and then
A wide, narrow wing for a broad, Liz says.
yeah.
What? Tim Van Ram says, "Gotta tie me kangaroo down, mate. Mate."
Oh, I'm a kangaroo down.
Oh dear, we're not allowed to talk about him anymore. Not Tim, the other one, the one that
Well,
sang
let's
that song.
include Tim in that same group.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
All right. Well, I think that's it for part 1, right, Liz?
Right.
Okay.
We'll do.
Yeah.
part two.
So here ends the part 1 of
end of-
APG 692. And if you'll just hang in there, just mere moments, you're going to hear us talking again, and it's going to be part 2.
And AJ will be here probably.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. So looky there, as I said, in a few moments, you'll hear us again on part 2. So it's the next day. But by the magic of podcasting, we're together with a different group, a little bit different. Speaking of different, AJ, Alpha Juliet, has joined us. Welcome, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
I can make it.
Good.
I'm doing good. Doing good.
All
Still
right.
warm. Not frozen yet.
All right. Very good. Yeah, not yet. He's referring to a quite impactful, potentially massive storm, winter storm coming our way for many of us. AJ and I in the Atlanta area, and Dr. Steph in the Charlotte area are
And
going
me
to
up
be.
here.
Oh yeah, and Liz, but she's just going to get plain old snow up there and super cold temperatures.
No, it's Liz's fault because she sent all that Canadian Arctic air down here.
Yeah, but it's the Gulf of Mexico's moisture, so there.
Okay, we'll blame the Canadians and the Gulf of Mexicans.
The moist Mexican.
The Gulf of
Or
Mexicans.
the Gulf Americans.
Perfect.
All right. So we're gonna continue on. We're gonna go back to the news segment, and we're gonna cover this item from Aviation Herald, avherald.com. It's a preliminary report on something that we talked about soon after it occurred back in March of 2024. Really? It was that long ago?
I know. I can't believe that either. Yeah.
That can't be right. Really?
I believe
That's
so.
like almost 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. Here we go. It involved a United Boeing 737-8 MAX, registration November 27290, performing flight 2477 from Memphis, Tennessee to Houston Intercontinental in Texas. With 160 passengers, 6 crew, landed on Houston's runway 27 and slowed to taxi speed. Well, not slow enough. About 30 knots prior to, attempting to turn right off onto the last taxiway. So it wasn't a high-speed taxiway. It was like a 90-degree right turn, taxiway. And the airplane skidded and went straight after turning about 45 degrees and came to a stop on soft ground off of the runway at 7:58 local time, so 2 minutes before 8 o'clock in the morning. And the left main gear collapsed because I think it hit something hard. Let's see. The FAA stated...
Head?
Yeah. Yeah, well... Yes. After landing at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston, United Airlines Flight 2477 rolled onto the grass when exiting onto the taxiway. Passengers deplaned on the taxiway and were bussed to the terminal. The Boeing 737 departed from Memphis International Airport. Okay, we already said that. Please contact the airline, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, you know what? Said that they released their, I thought we did cover the preliminary report in April of 2024 when they released it. So let me scroll down and see what we got here. Is this just like an update kind of a deal, Liz?
Yeah, I think it coincided with that thing that's down in feedback. Like, I think just go down to the feedback thing.
Okay.
About the captain and the recording and stuff.
I see.
This is the one about the cockpit voice recorder where they
had the cockpit
nice
voice
long
recorder
conversation afterwards.
Yeah. And I'm, you know what, Liz, I'm not going to play the video because the guy that did the video basically recreates the narrative from the cockpit voice recorder. I would rather just read the cockpit voice recorder.
You do your own recreation. That's fine.
Okay, so we're going to go to. You know what? Well, let's do the APG players.
APG players.
Yeah, cool. This is just all on the cuff here, or off the cuff. What is it? On or off the cuff?
Off the cuff.
Off the cuff. So we're gonna.
Can I be the Alpha rep?
Yeah, you can be the Alpha rep.
Nice.
So who wants to be the captain?
Oh, that's got to be you, Jeff.
Yeah, you, Jeff.
Okay.
Where's the text? I haven't found it yet.
It's kind of far down. I can do the setup for these.
It's down in feedback.
Feedback number 8. We've jumped down to feedback 8, Captain Nick.
Gotcha.
We received this feedback from Robert Tucker. No, just kidding. It's Robert who lives in Tucker. Robert Thompson, right? Thompson.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
And this is from, the source of this is from 1mileatatime.com, an aviation blog. Good point. Main man Micah says, if you're going to be off the cuff, you should probably use cufflinks. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No let's see. So from 1mileatatime.com blog, and United Captain runs 737 off runway. The cockpit voice recorder is fascinating. Now, I'm not sure I would use that adjective myself. I don't think it's that fascinating.
At least they didn't override it this time.
Yeah, that's true. Good point, Liz. They did not overwrite the cockpit voice recorder, so we get to kind of hear what the conversation was. Okay, so I'll start with Captain. Are we all on the right page?
Yep.
Okay, so
is it a page since it just scrolls?
Yeah, it just scrolls. I'm using figuratively speaking.
Is there an announcer's part?
You do the announcer part, sir.
Okay. 3 minutes, 15 seconds into the video, while still on the plane, you can hear the captain calling his union, the Airline Pilots Association, ALPA, to report the incident. And they advise him not to say anything else on the aeroplane.
Listen, I just ran off the end of runway 27.
You did this just now?
Yeah. We're sitting here in the airplane, left main gear collapsed, and we're deplaning right now in the buses.
Okay, don't say another word in the airplane.
Okay, all right.
The ALPA safety chair then tells them to perform the evacuation and then assemble the flight attendants away from potential bystander video.
We're sitting both in the cockpit right now.
Okay, door closed?
Doors closed, APU's off because the flight attendants told us that there was a fuel leak. We're on the emergency power.
Hey guys, just so you know who I am, I'm the Central Air Safety Committee Chair for ALPA. Just got to let you know, just take a deep breath. It's okay. Relax. Things like this happen. Okay. Not a good week for United. We just lost a tire going through the parking lot, so things like this happen. So go through your procedures, make sure you cover all your items, and follow your evacuation checklist. All
right, that's done.
Okay, so now you just secured everything. You're done at that point. You guys should now start to gather I want you to have a plan. You're going to travel to the chief's pilot's office. Do not do anything else. You're not talking to anybody. You're going to go down there. They're probably going to make you do a drug and alcohol test, right? That's standard.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to ask you questions. Your response is going to be very clearly, I'm a little rattled right now. Let me gather my thoughts, and we'll file the appropriate reports in due time. I don't want you guys saying anything right now. Catch your breath, right? Your career is intact. Everything's going to be fine. This will be a flight safety investigation.
It's going to be fine.
Okay. You will be completely protected. After about a month, you'll go back, fly the line again. This will be over and done with, okay?
Yeah. The only other thing is that I don't really want to board the bus with the passengers. So I got to figure out a way how to get to the terminal.
Okay, what I want you to do is call maintenance on the other line and tell them to send a truck or a vehicle there to take you and the first officer to the chief pilot's office.
Okay. So the writer of the blog, thank you, that was fun. The writer of this blog, or writer of this article from onemileatatime.com says, hey, I sort of get that the captain doesn't want to confront passengers, but it's fascinating that one of the few things he proactively asks for and mentions is that he doesn't want to get on the bus with passengers. I don't know. To me, that seems kind of understandable.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think I'd not want to be bombarded with questions from passengers at that point.
The last thing you want to do is have to make some statement, or even if it's informal, that will subsequently be reported. So
right. And so everything's being recorded. People have their phones out and taking video and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd ride the bus. I'd just change into my other shirt.
Uh-huh. And just,
incognito.
I'd just dress one of the flight attendants up as the captain and put him on the bus.
Wear this hat.
Perfect.
Will
you take this to the crew room for me? I'll pick it up from you later. I just have too much stuff with me right now, please.
You know, it would be especially important if I were that captain to separate me from the passengers, because I think everybody here knows me very well. That I like, I'm a chatty Cathy. Kathy, I would just spill everything. I would not be. I'd dig myself a very large hole.
I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry if I screwed up your travel plans. Just hear you now.
So let's see. Another interesting thing. Just shortly after the accident, before all of the above, all of what we just did. Happens. The captain repeatedly and profusely apologizes to the first officer over and over. He says things like, gosh darn it, I'm so sorry. I'm in deep SHIT and I can't believe I did this. Sorry, man, to get you into this mess. But I can understand being apologetic to your fellow
I think that's nice that he's
pilot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the whole gist of this article from this blog is that they thought it was kind of an unusual thing, but I don't know. I don't know what you all think, but I think that this is kind of probably very similar to what any of us, the conversation any of us would have in that cockpit, and talking to the Alpha rep, and saying that you want to avoid being with the passengers and everything else.
Mike has got an interesting comment here, Jeff.
Oh, Main Man Micah in our live audience says that's interesting because the Qantas QF-30, when they finally landed, after the crew got the engine fires out, the captain gave his phone number to all the passengers, especially the cute girls, I think.
Well, that's probably why you want to be speaking to your Alpha rep, because he's going to say, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a few years ago, too, I think.
But I think
maybe
the
his
difference.
phone number out. It wasn't his cell phone, and he just moved.
Yeah, it was his old number.
Yeah.
But also in that instance, the whole thing happened not due to anything that he did, right? I mean, it was the airplane that just.
Yeah, he was kind of the hero of the day, wasn't he? So like different coloring of the incident.
Slightly different situation.
Yeah,
exactly
slightly.
right.
Yeah.
And what our listener there says, yeah, it seems sensible that he might call his union. Oh, heavens, yes.
It's not just sensible. It's like you have to.
Yeah,
mandatory.
Absolutely. If you're the company don't want you to, but if you're a professional pilot and you're a member of a union, you're going to get. Well, ours certainly did. Used to hand us a little a cheat sheet that came fitted in your flight license, so that if you were involved in something you always carried with you when you flew, if you were involved in an incident, I have absolutely no doubt that you're completely, once you've dealt with all the procedures and you're left kind of, what do I do next? You can easily make a mistake that might be very damning for your career. So you pull out this cheat sheet and it's got a list of actions that you should take. For example, I mean, I haven't got the cheat sheet anymore, sadly, but it said BALPA members, this is for British airline pilots, BALPA members should call the 24-hour emergency helpline, and it gives the number. Every pilots union that's worth their salt have an emergency hotline for pilots to call if they're in any kind of a situation which might affect their careers. So this service provides legal, technical and welfare support, including advice on dealing with police or authorities after an accident. And it says, for example, immediate actions. If you have an in-flight accident or incident, prioritize safety and contact the emergency line as soon as possible after landing. If detained by the police, comply with orders but request legal counsel before making any statements. Do not feel forced to give immediate interviews if you are not in the right mental or physical state, etc., etc. It just goes on with all this kind of really good, solid advice, which is exactly what the Alpha rep on the telephone was giving this captain. And it's not like you're trying to hide anything. It's just like there are ways to say and explain what happened that don't necessarily end your career, and that's very important.
Exactly. And as the Alpha rep in this situation said, hey, say this, I'm kind of rattled right now by this. I wasn't expecting this to happen, and I have to get my thoughts together before I start talking about this. So, and that's true. And that's definitely true. Yeah.
Absolutely. And another advice, like if you're legally obliged to give blood, for example, have it tested, then ensure that you have a sample for yourself to independently verify any findings, and all these kind of clever tricks. And never get yourself separated from your passport and your license. Try and keep your crew together so that you're there to provide moral support to each other. Don't allow people to be separated away from you. And look after your crew as well as yourselves. And remember that this is, people have gone through this and successfully carried on with their careers, and quite rightly, one error, particularly something like this, which hasn't really done anything but damage the aircraft, is definitely not a career-ending incident.
Right. All right. Very good. Very good.
No, I like that. That was good, and it is. You're right. It's rare for us to hear the actual words of what someone says immediately after an incident, and that's another thing. Best don't do that. Have that conversation on the flight deck with the cockpit voice recorders going.
That circuit breaker would have been pulled.
Well, yeah, to preserve the voice recorder for the
exactly, of course,
exactly,
dude. That's the only reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear that car alarm or the car honking in the background. Sorry about that.
A honking great car in the background.
Okay.
Is that your RV?
I hope not. I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. Okay. We can play the Getting to Know Us theme again because I love it. There we go. This is Getting to Know Us segment part 2. And it's the time of the show, well, the second time of the show, that we talk about what we've been up to between episodes. And since Alpha Juliet wasn't with us yesterday on part 1, but he is here now, he's going to tell us what he has been doing. Or not.
So, sorry. Yeah, I'm here. I was just trying to get this pulled up, actually.
Oh, okay.
I am got to do a little bit of flying and had to do a go-around in anger for the first time in quite a long time.
Sound clip, Jeff. Sound clip. Get ready.
Oh.
Not the famous angry go-around.
Oh, yeah. We'll see. I have this go-around. But he doesn't sound very angry in that, though.
No, that song was playing in my head the whole time, though. Absolutely.
Was it? Okay, well, tell us about this situation.
So we got to go do a little fun flight down to Peach State, which I've talked about before, a little short grass strip. Had our friend Chuck, who's in the chat, came down and met us down at Griffin. He hadn't experienced a short grass strip yet, so he wanted to fly in there once with me and Ben, just kind of get the lay of the land. So we went down and picked him up at Peach State, and then the picture showing here is our other friend of our other show, Lucas. I've done some flying with him, and he flew with Ben, and then I brought a club member and my middle daughter, my 7-year-old. So we jumped in the 182, which is pictured in the back of that picture there. Flew down, picked up Chuck, and then we popped over to Peach State. And here in the South last weekend, it was pretty blustery. It was between 15 and 20 knot winds pretty much everywhere, some a little bit higher than that, 25 knot winds. Short runway, not particularly wide, and it's on a pretty good slope. I personally really, really like landing uphill as opposed to landing downhill.
Yes,
more effective that way.
Short grass strips.
Yes.
Tends to help with the stopping part.
It does, yeah. And when on the other end of off the end of the runway is a road, power lines, and trees. So, yeah, I didn't want to go over there. So, we overflew the airport and looked at the windsock, and the windsock was actually slightly favoring the uphill runway, which was a little bit surprising, being that the predominant winds were coming from the other way for most of the other airports.
Are there a lot of trees on either side of this runway? Just out of curiosity, or like things that would affect what the windsock is doing, despite the? I'm just curious.
Well, so where the windsock is at the top of the hill with no trees, but as you approach the beginning of the runway, the threshold of the runway going uphill, it's got 50 plus foot high trees on both sides. So you're going into a tree canyon. It's pretty exciting.
It sounds like Laney's up in just outside of Charlotte. Super fun.
I think so. Let me see if I can. So long story short, so I overfly the airport and look at the windsock. It's favoring the uphill. And so we fly the pattern, and I, get my approach in, and I'm pretty close to the beginning of the runway, and the airplane just floats all the way up the hill. Get up to the top of the hill where we're about 2/3 of the way down this 2,500, 2,400 foot runway, and I'm like, yeah, we're done here. we can leave. So it went around, tried it again, came in a little slower, a little lower, really just kind of got right at the end of the runway and carried a good bit of speed up the hill, because when I got to the top of the hill, I looked over at the windsock and it was starched straight out. It was about a 15 knot tailwind. So that wind was kind of swirling all over the place. And then here's a little video of Mr. Ben trying to do the same thing. Let's see how I can do this. Stop screen, present screen, share screen. There we are. So this will give you a little bit of an idea of what that runway looks like. And this is actually Ben doing his own go-around.
Oh.
Floating.
Wee.
Floating.
No.
Maybe I should go around.
You should play your song.
You can always go around.
So he bravely tried that twice and then decided...
what about that orange cone? Did he see that? That's why he left?
He did not hit the orange cone.
Okay.
And then he did decide to try it again from the other direction, and it worked out significantly better.
Okay, so now
the winds
opposite
were
direction.
Much better.
Get them
going
coming and going.
downhill.
Oh, watch out for the trees. Oh, okay.
The taxiing, not much better going downhill. Because you see right here, it's nice and flat. We're at the top of the hill, and right about there, it drops off. And it doesn't look like that much in the video.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty significant slope.
Oh, yeah, it does look...
Wow, yeah.
But at least you get a little
pretty
uphill
significant.
again on the other end.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's kind of a optical illusion.
Oh,
it's actually
is
just
it?
flat on the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
It does look uphill.
uphill, flat.
I gotcha.
So it was a good time though, because they were having a hangar sale, we'll call it, almost kind of like an estate sale, to where they Barnstormer's Workshop that was going out of business, and it's kind of a little bit sad because they've been around for 50 years. So it's got a lot of history at that little airport, this workshop. They work on a lot of old antiques. And then other than that, just kind of came back home and had a nice easy flight home. A little bit bumpy, a little bit choppy, but enjoyable day nonetheless. I think as Chuck says here, the wind was coming from 300 all day. It was a bit blustery, but it was fairly consistent until we got to Peach State. But yeah. So other than that, also speaking of Mr. Chuck, his one of his furry friends is also apparently one of Jeff's very good friends now. Big fan.
Wow.
Oh, that is great.
So yeah, I got that text message yesterday while you guys were recording.
Kissy.
Oh yeah, that's Henry.
Loves you, Jeff. He loves you, Captain.
That makes me feel so good.
Is he also working on guard right now? The kitty.
Yes,
Okay.
he does. He does monitor guard all the time.
Cute.
Very cute.
Nice.
Yeah, other than that, just prepping for the ice storm coming up. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, fingers crossed that I hope we don't get any ice or very little, but it looks like every report, as they keep updating, it seems to be getting worse and worse. I guess we're part of that cold air dam or whatever they call that.
Cold air damming.
Yeah, cold air
That
damming.
damn cold air from
Cold air damming.
Can we
you,
have
Canadians.
a cold dome?
and the warm nose and the cold air damming
Yeah,
is
the
what
warm.
creates
They've been
the
using
ice.
that term a lot.
Yeah.
The warm
Everybody's
nose.
been watching a lot of Weather Network, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the heat dome now? This is when we need the heat dome.
Right. I don't know. Good question though.
On vacation.
Okay, Jeff,
Timing is
over
everything.
to you.
Okay, my turn. So I had an opportunity to make a quick last-minute kind of trip out to the west coast of the U.S., west coast, Northern California, the Bay Area specifically. And I first of all want to say I am sorry to all the West Coast not all of the West Coast APGers, but most of you, that I didn't have a chance to really organize anything and wasn't able to meet as many as I would have liked to. But I do plan on heading back out to the Bay Area again sometime, hopefully soon, and then we'll maybe do something official. But I
Who did you
did.
meet up with then?
I did have an opportunity to meet up with one of our West Coast APGers and one of our frequent chatters, live audience members, and that's Tim Van Ram.
And new pilot.
Yeah, new pilot. Yeah, student pilot Tim Van Ram. We got to talk a lot about that, and I learned a lot about his his airplane owner partner lady and his instructor and all kinds of good stuff.
And then you went to go pray for each other.
Yeah. So yeah, we had to, because we're both such like sad, people. We thought, we should probably go to find a church and do some praying. Yeah. And so that's what. So Tim knows that I sing in my Catholic parish, and he said, I know someone who is related to aviation, she's a pilot, a friend of his, but also an amazing singer, and she is going to be singing at St. Dominic's in Pacific Heights. I think I'm getting this right, so Tim can correct me when I get it wrong. And there's a picture that we're showing of the interior of the church and an amazing the sanctuary and the altar and the choir. I don't believe and that when I took this photo, they had not yet processed into that area, but they were sitting right up there in the front. Oh man, the music, the singing was just amazing. We're talking like sacred music from the 16th century, and in that space, it was just amazing. And then, of course, it was really before we actually went to attend this mass. Tim picked me up from my hotel. I was staying in a hotel in Fisherman's Wharf. And we went to a place not far at all. In fact, we parked in the church parking lot first. And then because it was too early for the church service, we decided to get some breakfast. And he took me to a place called Sweet Maple or Sweet Maples. He can correct me on that. One of those two.
He's at lunch with Susan at the moment, but he's listening.
Oh, okay. They're listening, but they're at lunch. Okay. But I think it was called Sweet Maple or Sweet Maples, and they're famous for their Millionaire's bacon. It was just incredibly thick-cut bacon that's like probably soaked in maple syrup and so it had like a nice sweetness to it. It was so good, so good. Great breakfast, great conversation, of course, and I'm just realizing now that I forgot to record any audio. Sorry.
Wow.
I didn't even think about it. I was just,
all kinds of meetup recording fails this week.
I know.
Sorry.
I know.
We'll do better.
But what happens is we get together, and it's not for the show. We get together because we are friends and we talk, and sometimes I just completely goes right over my head. I forget to, I don't hear Liz's voice in my ear saying, Jeff, don't forget to do an audio recording and take lots of pictures. Unfortunately, yeah, no. But
well, you did take some pictures.
We did take some pictures for sure. Yeah. So it was a beautiful day there. Yeah, beautiful weather. Not a cloud in the sky. It was I guess maybe just okay. Well, you just proved me wrong. But
I can see one.
Just a few.
Fact, I'm going to start counting them if you like.
There's another one.
No, thank you. You don't need to count them. Okay, there were just a few clouds in the sky. Anyway, it was gorgeous. And I told Tim that was the highlight of my weekend. Hanging out with Tim. Going to that I mean, man, talking about killing a bunch of birds with one stone, having a great breakfast with a great friend at an amazing Catholic parish and listening to incredible music. It's like what else could you ask for, right?
Mark Knockenauer knows that restaurant, knows the church.
Mark Knockenauer in our live audience says, I know the church and the restaurant. Lucky you. See? Yeah. Anyway, so had a great time. It was a great weekend, and what else? So I didn't do any singing at all.
You did some editing. You did
past weekend.
Though.
I was doing some editing. One of the nice things about the flight out was that I knocked out almost all of the audio edit. Between Atlanta and San Francisco.
Oh.
So.
Insight from Tim here.
Oh, Tim Van Rem says Jeff was flirting with a gal at the next table.
Oh.
Yeah, and she was with her husband. I'm assuming that was her husband. Yeah. So it was funny. So the reason why he mentions that, so she was looking over at something that was behind me, but it kind of looked like she was like staring at me. And then she says, "Oh, just to let you know, I'm not staring at you." And then I started winking back at her like, yeah, right. Okay. And at the very end, so we had a nice little conversation with them. And at the very end, I said it was nice to talk with you and meet you and all that kind of stuff. And then I kind of looked over her in front of her husband and went, call me. Yeah, call me. Kind of, you know. Tim Van Ren said, hi, my name is Jeff and I fly planes.
Chuck Kelleher.
Oh, no, Chuck said, did he say my name is Jeff and I fly planes? No, believe it or not. But
did Tim
it was
say
Tim.
It?
Tim did. You know, it's like, hey, did I mention that I fly airplanes? Yeah. No, he didn't do that. Anyway, so that was, I think, pretty much it for my getting to know a segment. Do I have, I think we do have.
Yep, you have a coffee fund.
Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
coffee fund. Here we go.
Just a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a second.
Sure.
Here.
Let's talk coffee.
Johnny, how much more coffee?
No thanks.
Let's sing. I love coffee. I love tea. I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh, yeah, the Coffee Fund. It's your way, dear listener, to support the show financially if you have the resources to do so. And as we say every now and then, you don't have to. This is a free show, but if you want to show your support, you're more than welcome to. But the rule is that if you need the money for shelter, clothing, food, flying lessons, you know, all the important things in life, don't bother. You know, we're doing this because we love hanging out with friends and talking airplanes each and every week. Anyway, so there are a couple different ways to do it. One is the Coffee Fund Classic method, and we have our good friend Mazuz Karim with his monthly contribution. Thank you very much, sir. We do appreciate that, Dr. Karim. And the other thing that we have is something called Patreon. You can become a patron of our show via Patreon. And no new patrons since the last show, but we got a big group of folks that do that each and every episode. So thank you so much for that. If you want to learn more about how you can become part of the Coffee Bar Club, please head over to airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. You'll be glad you did. We will too.
Captain, incoming message.
Let's start off our feedback with this from Andy Harris. He says, hi, iPad or paper? Howdy, crew. I'm thinking about my favorite movie, Sully. After Captain Tom Hanks clears the cabin, he goes back and grabs the release paperwork. I assume to know how many people to count for the post-crash investigation. Or post-crash, I guess, just to kind of get a head count. If that were to happen again today, would Captain Tom Hanks be grabbing an iPad instead to get the critical information one would need? Thank you kindly. And again, that's from Andy Harris or Alpha Hotel. So, let's postulate. What do we think? Anybody want to venture a guess?
It's going to go that way, but I've been out of the system for, 7 years, and we still had some essential paper to carry, but most of the dynamic information was on our iPads. So trouble is that if you have a ditching and you dunk your iPad, the chances are you're not going to get any information out of it, and anything you recorded is going to disappear. Yes, right. And even then, if you're not ditching into the sea or a river, you could just spill a beer on it, and then that would have the same effect, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, paper doesn't do super well getting dunked in the ocean either.
No, very true.
Mm-hmm.
You can hold that above you. I suppose you could hold an iPad above you.
Well, I'd like to know.
Paper's fairly resilient.
Well, so maybe it's different for, I guess he was flying for U.S. Air at the time that this incident occurred.
Correct. Yes.
I don't recall. Now it's been a couple of years removed since I've been actively flying for the airlines. But the paperwork that we had, the flight plan and NOTAMs and stuff like that, I didn't have any paperwork that I had specifically for myself in the cockpit that had anything to do with who the passengers were, other than just a basic count, like how many passengers total, souls on board, SOBs. So that was the only.
You didn't
thing.
have a load sheet on your
No.
iPads? Oh, we did. So
No.
the breakdown of the passengers would be on your load sheet. We had an electronic one, not a paper one.
And did you actually have like the names of the passengers, like the flight attendants would have?
Nope.
Like that kind of a roster or whatever?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah. So
we never had that, whether we wanted it or not.
I think that
like the crew only had important ones as well. If you were down the back of the airplane, you were just passenger X.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm making that up.
Okay.
But
SOBs
if
doesn't
you
sound
had a
very
celebrity
friendly,
on
I know.
board, you definitely knew who they were. But everyone else, not really.
Tanya,
Not
it's
really
abs-
interested in you.
So Tanya says, SOBs doesn't sound very friendly. And as soon as it came out of my mouth, Tanya, I thought, well, yeah, that didn't.
It caught my attention too, and I was like, just gonna let it go. Not
That
even
actually,
nope.
my college roommates and I at Auburn University, we weren't part of an organized fraternity, but we did form our own Sigma Omega Beta. We were SOBs. In so many different ways. Let's see. Pilot Pete says, long-time listener, first-time commenter. Oh, good. Thank you for commenting. I don't know. I haven't read his comment, so maybe I'll change my mind. Never travel with Tom Hanks. You'll end up on an island, in a river, on a lifeboat, or stranded between the moon and the earth. He makes a
solid
good point.
advice.
Solid advice.
Yeah,
Does have a bit of a track record.
So what I wanted to say about the whole information about the passengers, I think most of us, I know I did, we would fill out like a little piece of paper, like a little cheat sheet with your flight information and fuel load and some other pertinent information you want to have like on your yoke. I might have to explain to Captain Nick what that means.
It's the thing you have in breakfast. It comes
the
with
thing
your
that gets
egg.
in the way of your tray. But something somewhere, or like a Post-it note or whatever, to have information like that. And one of the things that I think all of us or most of us do is we put the passenger count information on that. So, in this case, I wouldn't be referring to the iPad for that. I would just refer to my little note,
So they tell you guys if you've got like an important high mileage passenger on board that you can talk.
Not in my
they usually
experience.
tell us.
Okay.
No.
Nick, yes. But...
Yeah,
they usually tell you. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
No, I think the flight attendants have that information. They have like all the platinum and all the different.
Yeah,
like,
they can see who has what status.
Yeah, statuses and but not us. We don't. We have no clue.
You don't care
about so many things. We just have no clue. Like, we're always the last one to know, and we say that kind of jokingly, but it's kind of true. So
it's probably the safest way.
Yeah, probably best. Yeah. Okay.
Next.
Thank you, Andy, for the question. Phil Caruso. He a couple of episodes ago was a Coffee Fund contributor. Thank you, sir. So we're now finally getting he's sent us several feedbacks.
This is about the third thing we've got on this. Yeah.
And we do appreciate that. Thank you, Phil. Hope you all enjoyed Christmas and Santa was good to you. Hopefully no coal in the stockings. I didn't even have a stocking. Just a note about me, I've been an AMP for 57 years. Wow. And now retired.
Lord, I didn't know the qualification had been around that long.
Yeah, airframe and power plant. That's what AMP stands for, mechanic. Started with Western Airlines on the West Coast for a few months, then jumped to Allegheny Airlines in my hometown of Boston in 1969. Things got tough in the industry around 2003, so off I went to JetBlue in Boston for 19 years. All my time was working the line operation. Held many different jobs while in tech ops. The last several years and most meaningful were as maintenance technical support controller, which I miss greatly, working the more complex problems of the fleets. On to the wet-dry motor explanation. Yeah, so he was telling us about engine runs, and he was using a term wet and dry motor, and we were kind of postulating what we thought that meant. And so he's going to set us straight right now. A dry motor is done during engine maintenance, such as the engine washes or checking lubrication and low-pressure side fuel lines that might have been removed during a procedure for leaks. The main reason, or the main issue here, is there is no fuel introduced during the motoring. So the engine doesn't have any fuel going to it, so it doesn't kind of run on its own.
So it's dry.
Yeah, dry. Airbus equals IGN, select a crank, manual start, switch to on. Okay, just in case you guys want to do a dry motor, you now know on an Airbus. Ignition,
I think I knew,
select
thanks.
to crank. What?
I think I already knew.
You knew that?
Very nice of you, yeah.
What's really surprising to me, though, Captain Nick, is that I just thought there were just like 2 buttons, but apparently there's a lot
there's a
more.
secret panel.
Ah, gotcha.
Underneath the secret panel are all the other buttons.
Yeah,
Okay,
you still have
cool.
to start an Airbus. Just to take off, there's just the takeoff button. No.
Okay. So let's talk about wet motoring. A wet motor is accomplished after a maintenance procedure that entails the high-pressure fuel side of the engine. The subject engine's igniter circuit breakers are pulled and collared to prevent a start or fire. The fuel control unit, the FCU, is energized on the Airbus engine master switch to allow high-pressure fuel to be sent to actuators, lines, and finally the engine fuel nozzles to ensure there are no leaks. This also bleeds any air from replaced components. This procedure allows fuel into the combustor and out the low-pressure turbine in a large misty plume of vaporized fuel, so care must be taken in and around the subject engine and also have a fire guard standing by. Apparently no smoking allowed. The fuel on is only for 15 seconds, then the engine master switch is placed to off. In doing so, the fade deck, the full authority digital engine control. Did I get that right?
You ding 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 ding.
All right.
Good job.
Is reset. So when the N2 speed is at 10%, a dry motor starts to clear the engine and combustor of residual fuel. If this is not done, then someone might have a wet fart and soiled underwear on the next light off.
Well,
Not great.
Not great.
Yeah.
He says, I hope
Dry
this
motoring
clears.
makes sense to me. The wet motoring, I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. So that helps very much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Phil, for that. He continues. Being on my side of the cockpit door, we in maintenance don't always know what you totally experience. New aircraft give ECAM and ICAS messages along with hidden maintenance messages, but these don't always help in what's really happening in the system. Back in the day, we didn't have troubleshooting manuals, so we had to know and understand systems. But we got great feedback from the crews who did some troubleshooting for us. Things have changed greatly with both flight crews and maintenance in following checklists, QRH, MEL, CDL, and maintenance manuals. So it's extremely helpful when a crew gives us an overview of what they saw or experienced in a logbook entry. In my last feedback about the odor events which plague the airlines, I mentioned the LEAP engine and its LRD, load reduction device, that decouples the fan if any damage to a fan blade might cause an imbalance, like a bird strike. What can happen, and did during a decoupling, oil lines were damaged to an oil sump. Oil was then ingested into the high-pressure compressor, which burnt due to heat, causing smoke to be sent in the engine bleed system and then onto the pack or into the packs and finally into the cabin. Once the fire handle was pulled, the smoke cleared due to the pressure regulating and shutoff valve, or what I'd like to call the PRSOV, going closed. The closing
Rolls right off the tongue.
Love
Yeah,
your
it does.
acronyms.
The closing of the engine bleed was not in the QRH, but has since been added, and crews have been made aware. Software is being developed to do this PRSOV closure automatically to eliminate the smoke event. That would be a good idea, I think. Hats off to all the hosts of APG for a great, knowledgeable, and fun aviation podcast. Regards, Phil. Thank you, Phil.
yeah, thanks
Thanks,
to
Phil.
Filled us in. See what I did there?
I have a question, though.
Oh,
So
what?
he
No,
said,
not a question.
he said back in the day, they got great feedback from the crews. And then he said things have changed recently with both the flight crews and the maintenance. It's all gone downhill.
We don't give any feedback anymore.
No.
We're not allowed to talk.
Yeah, got to phone your alpha
Just
rep.
just zip it, fly the airplane. We don't need any commentary, no opinions. Don't help.
I know nothing. I see nothing. Or whatever Schultz said.
Yes.
I smell nothing.
Okay. Maybe one more item, Jeff, quickly.
Okay, maybe one more. Wow, time flies. Which one do you think I should do? Should I just go in order or what?
Yeah, sure, just in order, I think.
Okay. Some feedback from John Mcbeath. We did what we had to do. The true story of World War II's Dam Busters raid. Let's see. This is from John in Alabama. And he, let's see. Hello, guys. Here's a timely BBC article about the Dam Busters. I'm looking forward to Captain Nick's final installment. Wow, does he know something about Captain Nick that we don't?
I did
Were you the ghostwriter for the BBC article? Because that's what's going on here.
There's no final installment. I'm sorry. We did there were 4 installments in my story of the Dam Busters.
Maybe John just hasn't gotten to it yet. Maybe he's behind on his listening. I think
might be. Enjoyed the final one. That's where it goes bang, I think.
Well, he says, many thanks for all the great episodes, and here's special advice to all the pilot in training listeners. Remember to keep the pointed end going forward. Happy flying, John in Alabama. War Eagle. Yeah, War Eagle, man. And so he gave us a link to this.
What if you fly a Mooney?
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I'm thinking of some examples of the pointy end not going forward. Yeah.
Captain Nick, your Dam Busters plane tails were on 393, 394, 395, and 396 APG. Yeah,
so you can go back, or you can find them on, plane tails if you just want to listen to the stories rather than try and find them in the middle of the APG show. But those old shows are great fun. So you might even find Captain Rick on one of them. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah. So should I read a little bit as a tease, and then everybody
teaser,
can. Okay. In 1943, a specially formed RAF squadron embarked on a daring moonlit mission, but its success came with a heavy cost. Thank you for the sound effects.
Handsome bunch of guys.
In 1976, the BBC spoke to one of the airmen who made it home alive. Throughout the month of April 1943, John Buckley practiced low-level night flying and navigation for a top-secret mission as part of Royal Air Force 617 Squadron. Operation Chastise's security was so tight that no one in the hastily formed squadron, made up of 133 airmen from the UK, US, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, actually knew what they were training for. ...
They didn't know what they were doing. They were pilots.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Thanks, Liz.
None of them did. And a great combination of guys, but in fact, they were all incredibly experienced, and they insisted that they had all completed an entire tour of operations. So they had survived, I don't forget exactly what the number of flights they had to do for it. It was about 30. They'd survived that and were about to go on leave, on a break. And instead of which they were all invited to join this squadron for a couple of one extra flight, really. And despite the fact they'd all completed a tour, survived a tour of operations, they all volunteered to go and do this. And that involved, it was amazingly quick. The whole thing really only took 2 or 3 months from start to finish, but they just flew incessantly in training, and then they just had one operational flight. And of course, sadly, it was a very high loss rate, but they did the job. Great guys.
An amazing mission, amazing story. Yeah. All right. Well, that article will be included in our show notes if you'd like to read the entire thing. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. It's wrap it up time. And the first thing we'd like to do is point you to the website, airlinepilotguy.com, where you can find information about the crew and the community. Got a community calendar. We have a library, believe it or not. Miss Tiffany manages that for us. And have a lot of great contributions, title contributions from a lot of the APGers out there. So thank you in the community. merchandise, more detailed information about our plane tales, or Captain Nick's plane tales, and so much more. So please check out airlinepilotguide.com. And we're also on social media, or what this old fogey, this boomer, calls the social meds.
Indeed. We have a couple different sources for you to check out. You can head over to facebook.com/airlinepilotguy. We're also on X at APG Crew. If you're looking for the weekly show artwork that Captain Nick so kindly does for us, that's over on Instagram, instagram.com/APG Crew. And you can find the video recordings or join the live recordings and live chat over on YouTube, youtube.com/airlinepilotguy. And we were discussing it a little bit before we even started the show today, but if you're looking for that extra deep dive into the APG community and the world of APG, that's over on Slack. And I'll leave it to Hillel to tell you about it.
So he's always here in the bathroom nearby. Hillel, can you tell us about Slack?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
That's okay. Come on over here as usual. Don't get water all over the electronic equipment, please. And tell us now all about Slack.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas, we suggest episode and Plain Tales topics, we plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com. Or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thanks a lot, Hillel, and say hi to your wife for me. Okay. Whoa, they're having fun over there.
Jeff!
What?
I don't understand it. How can we be out of conditioner again?
Sorry. I'll pick up some more when I go to the store. All right. Thanks,
How do you think
Hillel?
Jeff gets his hair looking so wonderful for these live recordings?
I just use
Lots
a lot of conditioner.
Smooth.
Which is really important when you have gray hair. Trust me, if you ever get it, Dr. Steph, you'll understand. Gray hair just has a mind of its own. Got to use a lot of conditioner. A lot of product. Anyway, let's don't talk about my hair. We'd also like to thank Liz Piper for everything she does behind the scenes and try to keep us all on track, focused.
Straighten up and fly right.
Yeah,
toughest job here. Yeah,
it's a big job that she's mostly successful as far as getting us to focus.
I have Steffi to help. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
I'm just taking notes.
Yeah.
And taking numbers and taking names.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'd also like to thank our live audience, our live chat folks who are a big part of what we do in our live recording. And you should sometime, check this out. I think you'll have a lot of fun. Yeah, it is. And finally, with that, we're going to go ahead and, for those of you listening, this is probably history now, but hopefully if you're in the area of the United States, which is quite a large area, and Canada, not to forget our Canadian friends, in this big winter storm, hope everybody is doing well or fared well and is all safe and sound. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and wish you clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Talons, Douglas.
Cheers, y'all.
Ta-ta for now.
You're welcome.
See you next time.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the airline pilot guy.
Good day.
I used to be such a good pilot till I started APG. I opened doors for little old ladies. I helped them to their seats. Airline pilot guy, I fly America. Oh, airline pilot guy, he can land in heavy fog. I got no friends cause I'm always flying. I just don't have the time. But I can land this old plane. I can land it just fine. Airlines.